All right, so the title race across Europe is getting feisty and more interesting, especially in Spain, where it's just 1 point separating Barcelona and then also Real Madrid. After Barcelona won over the weekend against Levante, Real Madrid went all the way to Pamplona. Unfortunately, they couldn't pick maximum point against Osasuna. They also lost by 2 goals to 1, which means that the league log in the Spanish La Liga has reversed again. Barcelona now occupying top spot and Real Madrid trailing. You go to England, it's also getting interesting, and even more intense over there because Manchester City are trailing Arsenal by 5 points. But then City have got a game in hand. And guess what? Arsenal will be hosting Chelsea over the weekend in English Premier League. So these two, leagues have actually got a very, very interesting title race conversations, and I have here two gentlemen to, discuss the latest as far as the European top five leagues are concerned. I don't think we can make a stop at Germany, but Bayern Munich are running away with the title.
Definitely.
Inter Milan 10-point gap.
BVB over there.
No, but
but the title race is not as keen as we want to see. But in Spain, there's Barcelona taking on Villarreal. And then also there's Real Madrid against Getafe, which is a Madrid derby. Now, let me come to you, Courage. Which of these two games do you think would actually, have a huge implication as far as the title race is concerned?
You look at Pom Guard, I'll say Barcelona against Villarreal because Villarreal has been very, very good, especially in the La Liga this season. Just that they've not been that flamboyant in Europe, but then in the La Liga proper, they are doing quite well. I think they sit third. Fourth, yes, third, yes, on the league log. So meaning they are the third in command, and then they were opposing force against Real Madrid and then also Barcelona. So that should tell you that if the first or second, or if there's a game involving the first and third position, that means that it's going to be a cagey one. I expect Villarreal to come in with maximum strength. I mean, Thomas Partey, one of their key players who was out of form, is now gaining grounds and then also gathering momentum with their Senegalese international Pape
guy.
Yes, he won the AFCON just recently, so he's gathered some momentum as well. And then Villarreal are playing very well. One thing about Villarreal, I don't know the difference between their home and away jersey. That thing
the yellow stuff.
Yes, every time I see them, they are in yellow jersey. So coming up against Barcelona also they are now leading the log with single points. They will be looking for it to extending it because they know very well that Real Madrid at any point or any given time they are capable of beating Getafe. So if you also get a chance to play against Villarreal, which is a very, very top opposition, you need to come in with your A game, which I know Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and then the likes, they will be also eager or equally prepared for this particular task. But these are one of the steps that when you are able to cross, you know for sure that you are edging closer to winning the La Liga title. So this is a match, my pick of the week, the game between Barcelona and then Villarreal.
I don't know if our viewers also agree with you. Pick of the week, Barcelona hosting Villarreal at the Camp Nou. Amos, there's also Real Madrid hosting Getafe at the Santiago Bernabeu. You look at this game, you compare it to the Barcelona game. Which one do you think would really make something happen? Could change the conversation?
Well, I think I'll go for Madrid and then Getafe because yes, Madrid lost to Osasuna by 2-1. Now they beat Benfica by 2-1 in the Champions League to qualify to the next round. And so a lot will be expected for Real Madrid in this particular game, looking at the fact that they've sent off Benfica packing off in the Champions League. And so definitely all their efforts will now be moved to the La Liga to make sure that they topple. They'll be hoping for Barcelona to drop points against Villarreal because playing against Villarreal is also another big game. And so for Getafe, no disrespect to Getafe, but then Real Madrid will hope that they get all the maximum 3 points in this particular game. For Arbeloa, one thing I have a big problem with Arbeloa. Then that has to do with he's a really good coach, but as a coach, aside you coaching your players on the field, you also need to command your players. You look at a coach like Zinedine Zidane. I mean, when he was coaching the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, you saw how he was commanding.
Are these not two different roles entirely? Interim, substantive.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whether you are. I mean, I remember back then when Luis Enrique was head coach for Barcelona, during the MSN
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
There was one time he benched about 2 or 3 of them in a particular match, and then the next match you saw how composed they were. And so once you're a head coach, you don't, aside you coaching, you need to be able to command your players. You need to be able to tell them what to do. Unlike when you saw what happened during Alonso. Alonso was sacked not because of results. He was sacked because of these issues that has to do with the way he controls players and stuff. And so Arbeloa should be able to control. I mean, the game against Osasuna, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
You saw Vinicius and then Mbappe playing at the same way. Then they left the center midfield, the center side empty. And so heading into this particular game, a whole lot will be expected of Real Madrid against Getafe because they really need to pick up that maximum 3 points in this particular game.
Just as it's getting heated in Spain, you move to England and there are two crucial games as well. Title deciding games, and we are looking at the games that could have huge implications on the title race. Let me come to you, Amos, before I move to Courage. There's City traveling all the way to the Eland Road to take on Leeds United. Then there's Arsenal also hosting Chelsea. Now you look at these two games, which of these two games do you think would be very crucial?
Well, both games will be very, very crucial. First of all, let me talk about Manchester City and then Leeds United. I mean, Leeds United, it's a very, very, they are one of the teams that are very, very difficult to beat. I mean, you can beat them, but then it's always a difficult to win, especially at their home ground, at the Elland Roads. But then for Arsenal and then Chelsea, the last time Chelsea defeated Arsenal was back in 2021, and so at this moment, Arsenal were against Chelsea. I mean, the last weekend they played a North London derby, and this time at this weekend another London derby heading into their way. And so for Arsenal, they look a bit quite organized in this particular game. But I would expect Arsenal to win this game against Chelsea, and then I also expect City to have a difficult win. City is going to have a difficult win against.
A difficult win.
Yes, a difficult. They are going to have the win, but it's going to be a very, very difficult. I mean, Leeds United are one of the teams that are hard to beat. You can beat them all right, but then it's always a hard-fought victory whenever you come to the Elland Road. So these are my predictions.
Two title deciding games. Point gap still remains 5, but then we've seen Manchester City.
Don't forget there's also a game in hand for Manchester City.
For Manchester City, that's what I'm saying. We've seen this before. Manchester City, especially down the stretch, where they are able to conjure some magic and go 10, 15 games without dropping a single point. Now there are two games, Kai. Which of these two games will you be looking at, with that lens, thinking that this can change the entire title race conversation?
If there's anything at all, I think Manchester City should focus on their game against Leeds United and then leave Arsenal against Chelsea, because this is one of the games that Arsenal fans will be singing. Let's play you every week. You know that chant, right?
Yeah.
Let's play you every week.
Yeah. When they beat you like 4 or 5 years.
Whenever they beat Chelsea. I don't remember the last time Chelsea won a game against.
Yeah, they recently met in the Carabao Cup semi-finals.
Both are coming
They
away.
played about 6 games and Chelsea has won only 1. Sorry, Chelsea has scored only once.
Yes.
Scored.
Yes,
Did
only once.
In the league.
That was in a 3-goal to 1 scoreline. I think Chelsea played away. Yes. And then guess who scored that?
Isn't that bad?
Guess who even scored
Yes, very,
that?
very bad.
Noni Madueke.
Wow.
Who has crossed borders or shares to Arsenal. So this is one of the easiest games Arsenal can ever have in the Premier League.
Look at the number of Chelsea players that are playing for Arsenal at this moment. You see, you have Noni Madueke, you have how many players?
Just one, Noni Madueke for now.
So he's the only one.
Yes.
And so he's going to. I think he's going to play a very, very crucial role in this. Definitely, Noni Madueke is going to play in this particular game. Don't forget Kepa. Kepa is also definitely.
Kepa moved. Yeah, Kepa moved. Declan Rice.
No. For
Chelsea
Arsenal.
Academy, not the first thing. But you think the point gap will still remain the same, 5 at the end of the game week?
Because Arsenal are going to cruise past Chelsea with very, very ease. So much ease.
But tell me, how do you think Arsenal can just beat Chelsea without any?
Arsenal has been dominating Chelsea. I mean, look at the Carabao Cup. The first leg ended, I think, 3-2.
3-2, then 1-0. No, the second leg, at least you could see Chelsea pushing for something. It was just hard on their side.
What happened at the end?
Yeah, they lost.
Yes. So the most important thing is about the win, about you taking the maximum points. You can play all the beautiful football, but then if you don't win, it doesn't count.
Would you predict that game?
Chelsea against Arsenal. It will be not less than 2 goals margin, a win for Arsenal. Yes, and then,
I'm listening.
And then with Manchester City, they have the firepower. They have Semenyo, who is not unstoppable at this particular moment. Mamouche, every game he plays, he scores, or either he scores or he assists. Playing for either in midfield or in attack, he gives something very, very special, something that nobody particular has in that particular team. His role is very, very, very key to the success of this Manchester City team. And then they have a new kid who is making very, very, very bold statements. He's been in the Three Lions squad for the past three call-ups or the last three occasions. Who is Oscar Ball? He's in very, very fine form. He scored a brace in their previous.
That's Nico Riley. Nico Riley. Nico Riley. Yeah.
So that kid is really writing a statement, a big statement for himself, and then he's also pushing for a play because his position, his initial position was supposed to be the left back, where Anthony has occupied. So now he has inverted into the midfield, where he's taking his chance already because you see a player like Nico Gonzalez sitting on the bench for Nico Riley to play.
Yeah, that
goes on to tell you how good he has been from the training ground, and then how well he has been able to gel or getting himself acclimatized to the pep tactics. So these are players that on any given day they are able to churn out something, even on a difficult ground. Like you see, Manchester City, what they like very much is a stubborn team. You see how Amos is describing Leeds United to be one of the. You'll be surprised they'll go east past them like 4, 5, 7.
Let me quickly ask. You look at the two leagues and the title race. 1 point in Spain, 5 in England, City with a game in hand. Which of these two leagues, based on what we are seeing currently in the title race, makes it more competitive, Amos?
Well, I think the EPL, because when you look at La Liga, when you look at the third place teams, you look at the points between them and then the second place teams, they haven't really been encouraging. In La Liga, it's always Madrid and then Barcelona. These two teams are always dominating. Atletico Madrid, they just go on and off. You see Atletico Madrid rising and then they go down. But when you look at the EPL, today, yes, it's for like about 4 couple of seasons. It's Arsenal and then Manchester City. Yeah. But then you look at the third.
At least Liverpool won last season.
Yes. Yeah. But then you see Liverpool. It was Arsenal and then Liverpool came to topple. But then you look at other teams. You talk of Manchester United. You talk of Chelsea. You talk of Arsenal.
There's Villa in there.
And those things. Yeah. Last season you saw about 5 teams from England making it to the Champions League, and then the Europa, and then the Conference League. And so all of this is what makes the English Premier League very, very interesting. I mean, aside these top 2 teams for the past 4 seasons, you see the other teams also making that kind of dominance in it. You saw Liverpool. I mean, we saw it was Arsenal and then Manchester City, and you saw Liverpool topping the league and then winning it last season. So this is what makes the English Premier League very, very interesting. Unlike the La Liga, it's always.
Can you agree with Amos on that?
I agree to some extent, but not entirely, because this season in particular, the La Liga has been very, very competitive. Because we've always said that the Liga consists of 2 teams and then the rest, which is Real Madrid and then Barcelona. It's always been Atletico Madrid playing as the third force, but then this time something has changed. Atletico Madrid are on 4th position, and then a certain Villarreal occupying the 3rd position. That means it's beginning to be very, very competitive. Though the point gap between the 1st and 3rd, between Barcelona and then
it's more than 10 points.
It's more than 10 points. So that's why you can you can say something in favor of the English league. The point gap between Aston Villa and then Arsenal is also almost.
I think 10. It's 10 now.
Almost 10. So I don't see they are at par.
You think they are at par?
Yes, because if Aston Villa, who are sitting 3rd, are trailing the first team by an equivalent point of 10. The same is happening somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't think
you still think it's
pushing that this is becoming.
But if you are using the Champions League as a yardstick, 6 teams from the Premier League in the round of 16, you'd say by far the Premier League is more competitive.
That's fair enough. They have 6 teams playing in the Champions League, but then which teams? The 6 teams. If you want to bring all their talents together, how many Champions League titles can they boast of as compared to just 2 teams in Spain? Real Madrid already has 15, and then Barcelona has 5.
It's a mismatch. You don't even start here.
So it doesn't. It's not. It's about who has got the players.
Okay.
You see, who has got the experience.
Sure.
You know, when you take Manchester City, Arsenal, and then Aston Villa. These are the top 3 teams in England. If you take them into the La Liga, how are they going to perform? As compared to if you take Real Madrid, Barcelona, and then Atletico Madrid, you bring them
to the Premier League.
You know very well that Real Madrid, Barca, and then Atletico are more strong candidates than Arsenal, Manchester City, and then Aston Villa.
Wow.
You see, yes. So I cannot say at this particular point or this particular moment, I cannot say the English Premier League is more
competitive, right?
than the La Liga, because I believe strongly these three teams occupying the first, second, third respective table are very, very strong power, and then strong enough to conquer any particular team in England.
Yeah, so it's getting more interesting. It's getting keener and keener in the Premier League and then also the Spanish La Liga. But the argument is looking at how both title races are going. Which of these two leagues would you say is more competitive? Arsenal leading City by 5 points, City with a game in hand, or Real Madrid, Barcelona exchanging places at the top of the table week in, week out. This is a conversation you would love to have your say in the comment section.